understanding the technology that powers the money is essential. Knowing the business drivers that inspire how the money is made is crucial. Bridging the gap between the mind of the technologist and the mind of the business is monumental. That is what TBF is all about. Let's start this never-ending conversation. It's time.
Happy Friday. We are back with another live episode of the Tech Behind FinTech. Really excited for this episode. So I have friends who are experts in their field that I can talk with and talk shop with. It's always a lovely experience. I'm with Rich Laster from growexpand.com. Rich, how are you doing today?
I'm Diego. Good to see you. Thanks for having me, man. I'm doing well.
Excellent. Today's topic is FinTech Sales Mastery, selling in the digital age. Like I said, Rich Laster, growexpand.com. Let me do some housekeeping, and then we're going to jump into today's episode. I'll introduce my guest formally. We are streaming live from Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch. We have another stream going from Instagram. Those of you on Instagram, when I look this way, I'm looking at my cell phone, and Rich is on there too. And so we're doing live from multiple platforms. We're really excited for this show today. Well, I'm really excited for this show today, and I think you're going to definitely take something away from it because sales is something from a technology side. We know that we need it, but we don't talk about it too much. So today we're going to talk about it and dive into it. We are on the Tech Behind FinTech platform. That's the podcast. We're live every Friday at 12 p.m. If you are on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch, feel free to drop a comment if you have some insights, questions, or just want to say hi. Drop a comment. We'll post you on Instagram. You can drop a comment, or you can go to what we have pinned at the techbehindfintech.com, and your comments can be part of the show if you go to techbehindfintech.com. That's all the housekeeping. Now let me formally jump into the show. Rich Laster, I'm gonna read your bio, and then we're gonna get into it, brother. Rich Laster empowers business leaders to realize their greatest potential impact on the world by strategizing how the value their product or service represents can best be monetized. This magic is a result of his 25 years of sales experience, 18 years of sales leadership experience, and 12 years procurement and business development consulting. While every business leader seeks results, Rich goes beyond sales by engineering custom strategies to empower his clients to have repeated and scalable success. From the doubling of branch revenue while in the banking industry to being the fractional CRO of Greater Philadelphia's fastest growing management consulting firm, Rich Laster is the premier expert in sales and business growth in small business community. His 25-year sales experience makes him the highly sought after resource for business leaders and entrepreneurs who recognize an urgent need for results. It is his philosophy that sales revenue is at the core of business growth, and thereby a key factor in positioning America to successfully compete in the global economy. A graduate from Temple University, shout out to Temple, Rich is highly active in his support of economic development initiatives that focus on the future of business as a mentor of Urban League Entrepreneurship Institute Fellows, a member of the Ben Franklin Technology Partners Investment Review, etc. Rich, impressive bio. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me, man.
So, I have to say, I said shout out to Temple because Rich and I both attended Temple for undergrads where we met. So, I'm not gonna I don't shout out the years, but understand it's older than some folks who are of working age. So let's just say that.
How about that?
Yeah. So, sales, man, let's get into it. It's one of those things. It's from a technology standpoint, and I'm guilty of this. I didn't really get it until I started to go into entrepreneurship from the side of having to get clients, not, right. In the business, and sometimes you start as an employee or you're a contractor, but, you don't really go out and shop for the business. You just get hired. They put you as a contractor. So technically you are 1099. You're not a W-2, right. But you didn't have to shop for that client. You didn't have to build the relationship, but you're somewhat like a staff. You just get paid differently. But coming out of that and now having to go out and actually sign new deals, dude, hard as hell. For anyone who has never done a cold call, It's hard for anyone who hasn't approached someone at a networking event to build a relationship that can eventually transcend into you doing business together. Understand the difficulty of it. Rich, what's the secret sauce?
The secret sauce is giving a damn.
Wow.
The secret sauce is actually spending the time in developing your tech and developing your fintech, spending the time at beta, like slowly staying at beta until you are so clear on the problem you solve for your ideal client profile that it's no longer a sale when you're interacting. It's no longer a sale when you're hunting. You are now looking for people who can benefit from what you're bringing to the market.
Interesting.
Every person I
I'm
train,
smart.
every salesperson I coach, it's about getting them to understand the value of what they're offering, so you know who you can help and who you can't. When somebody tells you no now, yeah, okay, you're still going to get 85 no's out of every 100 calls, but it doesn't hurt. Those are just people you can't help.
Couple of things I want to touch on that you said. You said ideal client. I know some refer to that as the avatar. What is the process of constructing that ideal client that people like? What's that process look like?
That process starts at the development of their value proposition. The offering, the value of the offering isn't something that you make up in a marketing meeting with your sales team and your marketing people. It's what comes out of understanding the pain that you solve, the problem that you fix, right? How you're doing this and doing this differently or better than anyone else in market. It starts right there. That's the avatar, the people having those pains, the people with those challenges that your product or your service, your tech solves, right? That's the avatar. A lot of people try to invent it when it's right there in the product development phase. We got to go back into that product development data and pull that out, right? So now I know Todd, who's 40 years old, who is the founder of a startup tech company. Hardware is his focus. My SaaS addresses these two pain points he's going to experience at go-to-market phase and at growth phase, right? So I know Todd. Todd's 40. Todd's married. Todd's likely to get divorced because Todd's extremely vested in his business. He's never home. He's always at the office. Date night, he misses 3 out of 4 of them a month. Like that information, you're getting all of that when you're doing your research on who you're actually helping.
Let's break that down, right?
Please.
You because you know what it reminds me of? I was at this I used to work at this online trading platform. I'm not going to mention their name, right? So, you know, I mean, and at the time it was an open floor concept.
Okay.
So the development team can see what the marketing team is doing, can see what all these different teams are doing. So one day, like I was walking past the marketing team and they had a poster board of this guy, right? Cartoon figure, but looked real. And they had everything this guy does. Like they had, all right, he wakes up. This is what he's reading while he's at breakfast. This is his commute. This is where he lives. This is how he dresses. This is what he does. And they had his whole day mapped out, right? From to start to, and then, you know, how he deals with his wife and everything like that.
Right.
And it was marketing sales. And the question I have for you, man, because you mentioned Todd, right? That Todd is likely to get divorced. Todd misses 3 out of 4 date nights a month. The questions I've always had with people who create these avatars is how do you know so much about this person?
It's the part where a lot of salespeople miss is those open and active and frequent conversations with marketing, right? Marketing loves the data. They're always into market research. Well, guess what? If you're selling your tech, you need to love the data. Data points are God, right? Know everything you can about who you're helping, right? If the statistics say that tech founders are typically 37 to 51, but at 44 to 51, those are the ones that are most likely to get venture capital. Those are the ones that are most likely to stay married, right? So if Todd isn't in that group yet, I know that there's still a good chance he's going to get divorced because he's still in the bootstrap phase of his business, right? He doesn't have millions of dollars yet. He's not one of the 1% of companies that apply for and actually get venture capital. So he's doing this himself. His trust fund is exhausted. Mom and dad are tired of him asking for money. His wife is like, is there another equity loan on the house? We didn't talk about this. Divorce.
That's having problems, man. All right. So you go and you create this fictional Todd character, right? Based on, well, I'm hearing you now. I'm going with what you're saying. Based on the data you get from marketing and also those types of insights. Let me ask you a question, because a lot of audience are fintechs, right? What if you don't have the like? How does an early stage company get that data, get that level of insight? Because how does that work? What do they need to do to learn their avatar? Or better question,
Yeah.
what is the first step? Is the first step, I would assume, help me out here. I would assume you have to understand the avatar, know the avatar to then understand the pain points. Or is it understanding the pain points and then getting to the avatar? How does that process work?
That's it. So it's specifically to fintech. Fintechs are usually tech people who see an opportunity in the financial adjacent area. In that arena, they see an opportunity where a problem isn't being addressed or solved. Most of them jump to solve the problem. The successful ones take the time to start talking to the people having the problem. You confirm the problem. You now have an Excel spreadsheet with 100 people who are having this problem you think you can help. In developing your fintech, you now have a captive audience, a survey cluster to, hey, I'm developing a solution that fixes X. How important is that to you? Well, I've been talking to you the whole time. I know it's important to you, right? So when I go to market with it, one, I have a captive audience of 100 people that I can sell to. Two, I know my avatar better than anybody else because I actually know Todd, right? Like, I've been to Todd's house. I've heard the arguments, right? The wife kicks Todd's dog. Like, there's beef in there. They're getting divorced. So in creating the avatar, to your point, you can pull it out of thin air and make it up. Or if you developed your product right, if you developed your fintech right, you developed it by actually talking to the people experiencing what you're creating the solution to.
So what I'm hearing, I love it, by the way, but what I'm hearing is approach your target without necessarily selling to them initially. Approach the target and just say, listen, I'm working on something. Based on what you're working on and what you have, I think I could address this. Are you having this problem? Pause. They might go, yes. Okay, cool. Then it's like, wow, okay, you're having this problem. This is how I intend to fix it. I like to keep in touch with you just to like work on it. I think it's a future solution that I can solve for you.
Right.
Shut up. Let them talk. Let them
right.
cook.
That's right. Let them cook.
You have this person, right? He's check, go down the list again. So it's almost like you're building this huge list by telling them about this thing that you're about to make their life so much easier, but you just need their help in answering a few simple questions. And as we start developing it, we might just touch base again because I know you have this problem and I know that you want to fix it, but you don't currently have a solution. So if we look at it from an ideal state, right, from a fintech founder, I see an opportunity in the market of a potential problem that I can solve. Step one. Step two is like, all right, how do I what's my plan on actually addressing and fixing this problem? Okay, cool. I have a plan, a good team I could put together. Okay, let me start getting potential customers of this problem. Let me just start reaching out and just talk them through it.
Right.
And just to really understand if the thing I'm trying to solve is actually a pain point that they want to fix. Right. And they are eager to fix. Then after that, kind of work with them through the product development informally, right? We're not paying these people. We're just asking a bunch of questions.
Right. It's costing you nothing.
Nothing. So then, once it's built, hey, look, we got a beta out, no cost. I jump on it, see if it helps you. And then, once it's becoming a solution for them, they're hooked. Is that, did I summarize that? Is that what you're
absolutely right? Absolutely right. Every person listening's mom or dad had Formula 409 under the sink in the kitchen, right? It's the cleaning product that almost every household in America had. Nobody understood what Formula 409 meant. Through alpha stage and through beta stage, the perfect formula took 409 attempts before they got it right and were ready to take it to market. Tech
mind blown.
Is no different.
Mind blown. I had no clue. Really? That's the story behind Formula 409 for real?
That's why they named it Formula 409. It was the 409th formula.
Wow.
Right.
That's cool.
And how easy it is to sell something that the formula's perfect.
Social media movement. We're gonna clip this in the future. You're gonna use this on your socials, man. That was cool. That was cool. I like that. I had no clue. I love that. That's interesting. So really, really interesting. So what about the startups who have this amazing idea and they're afraid that if they start to talk about it to people outside of their company or their investors, someone may steal the idea? How does that play out?
I don't want to curse on your show, but to hell with fear, right? If I'm a quote Mark Cuban, the person that makes the most money is the first person to market. It's not the person with the perfect idea. You can develop your alpha, sure, develop your beta, but once you go to market, go. And don't be scared to have a version 2, 3, 4, 5, 8. Everybody with a cell phone is at least an 11. Or I know Samsung is on 24 now, but they didn't wait till they had 24 to start selling their phones. You don't say, oh, look, yes, people will snake you. Snakes are everywhere. It's a part of our culture now. Everybody look at me, like the advent of the selfie, people are trying to figure out how they can make a buck, right? I get it. And you're building it. Your alpha testers are not going to sign a non-disclosure agreement. They don't need to know what you're really doing, I see a problem and share the pieces of what you're thinking with them to get their feedback and their input. These are surveys, these are conversations. So you're not really giving it away. Your beta testers are going to have it in their hand, right? They're trying it. They're buying their Bitcoin with it. They're using your FinTech to do whatever it's designed to do. Okay, so now it's out there. So make that beta a 90-day beta. And you're not going to sleep. And your home life will suffer. Warn your family.
Explain the concept of a 90-day beta.
A 90-day beta says that so that I know when I'm going to market, I know how much time I have. Most people work better under deadlines. You give yourself 90 days from the start of the beta, put it in their hands, and every comment, every thought, you're talking to these people every week for 13 weeks. And you're tweaking and you're improving and you're fixing, and your dev team hates you. But at the end of 13 weeks, you're ready to go to market. You're ready to sell. Because I sit on an investment review committee. Venture capitalists love, in an economy like this especially, when you're already making money. They love it.
Everyone loves when you're already making money.
Right.
Thanks. Everyone loves it. Not everyone could pull it off, but everyone loves it.
That's right.
No, interesting stuff, because obviously it reminds me of the concept of the minimal viable product and the lean startup, that book and stuff like that. So I totally get that. All right, interesting stuff. Because I like where this is going, because we're kind of starting from having nothing, creating the beta, testing it out, going to alpha. All right. So now you're in the mix, right? You went through that process. You curated a list of some potential people based on the problem you're trying to solve. You engage them in conversation, and a no investment conversation, not a conversation where, listen, I have this great thing I want to sell you. Hey, do you have time for 5 minutes on your calendar? You're not doing any of that, right? You're not doing any of that. You're like, hey man, role play. Hey, Rich, how you doing today? Listen, I see that you were grow, expand. I'm working on a solution that helps salespeople with businesses like yours. Here's the problem we're trying to solve. Is that something that you have issues with, or had problems in the past?
And my response is, tell me a little bit more about this, or kick rocks, kid. I'm busy.
That's
right. And that's it.
That's it.
And you just keep hitting the phone until you get enough yeses. Like at alpha, you want 1,000. By the time you're done alpha, to your point, you should have a minimally viable product. In your product development phase, alpha is like the end of product development. I have an MVP. Where are my beta testers? They're right there in your alpha.
Okay. So you have this. Okay. I like it, because it's almost like, well, not almost, you didn't wait until you had a finished thing to start building out these contacts. I think what you see, especially a lot with startups, you have, whether it's technologists, whether it's a business guy that had a really good idea, then align himself with technologists. Point being, you don't see traditional salespeople. So it's hard for those people to come in now and start selling. Well, let me rephrase. A lot of them are usually not successful. They don't understand what the hell they're doing. So that part, right? It's like, you know how to build something, but selling, man, it's a whole, from over the years of just getting ghosted, reaching out to people. I mean, dude, it takes its toll.
Yeah.
Even front, I'm going to be totally transparent. I don't like it. Can I do it? I've done it, but I'd rather do 1,000 other things than try to convince you to get my solution, what I know will work for you. I'd rather do 1,000 other things.
Right.
How does one who doesn't have a traditional sales background get over that?
That's a great question. The fastest way to get over sales anxiety is look at the data. You've done all this work, or you're the salesperson, so someone else did all this work of developing the alpha, developing the minimally viable product, doing the beta testing. You need to read that data, right? Every objection you're going to face is in that data. Every, well, I don't really, it's all in that data, right? So now you're in a position where instead of having to, hi, I'd love to talk to you about the great opportunities our fintech represents to businesses like yours.
Yeah, I hate that.
Now I'm starting off with, I'm calling you today because my information in front of me tells me that you're having X problem. Is that true?
The difference. I love the difference.
I'm taking a position of an attitude of helping you. So I'm starting off confirming the problem. If you're having that problem, I'm not getting a fuck off. I'm not getting a kick rocks kid, right? I'm getting either a pause because I just went in your kitchen without being invited, or I'm getting a, how'd you know that? Where'd you get that data from? I'm a bit of a nerd. I'm really good at looking at a business and observing when they're having the challenges that we're the perfect solution to. Quiet.
Love it.
Well, what's the solution? Now you present.
If people watching this are truly I think in order to appreciate what you just did, you would have had to been on the other side of that, trying to, hey, how are you today? I'm calling because oh, okay. Let me rephrase. Let me stop. Hi, hey, I hope all is well. Click.
Right. Right.
It's like, so
Right.
I love how you just did that.
Right.
So approach with the problem initially. Like, the small talk is not even necessary.
Kill it. We are in a post-COVID, post-TikTok world. TikTok has impacted the American public in one way. It's shortened the attention span. So you have 3 seconds with every email, with every call script. You have 3 seconds to get that person to want to keep engaging, to want to hear what you have to say before they're just going to hang up on you or delete your email. 3 seconds.
1,001, 1,002, 1,003.
Right.
That's
right.
Let me ask you a question. What's the data that supports that? Because I know you're a data guy. Where did that 3 come from?
There was a research paper that came out early this year that studied the attention span of the American public. And everybody, I'm sorry, everybody in business, not just sales or marketing, everybody in business needs to be absorbing as much as you can. Like, read everything you get your hands on. The amalgamation of books behind me and around me are like ridiculous. I'll read anything, but especially if you're sales, you should be empowered with the data of the pain that your ideal client, those avatars, those buyer personas, you should know what they're experiencing. And your downtime should be reading about what they're experiencing, what's going on in the market, what's going on in their industry, not just yours, right? If I'm selling into banking with my FinTech, what's going on in banking right now? Like, the Federal Reserve is working with MIT to develop a coin. Nobody's talking about it. But if you're doing fintech and you're selling into banking, you need to know about that because all the execs know about it. The front line, I mean, I asked a banker recently, what do you think about this, MIT Federal Reserve coin? Huh? Sorry, my bad. Look, it's like, know who you're helping, know what they know as much as you can, and fix their problem. But when you get on the phone, we realize that a lot of companies are trying to increase market share right now, but running up against the advent of social media and all these fake experts. Are you feeling that pain? Who are you? Right. I got past 3 seconds. I got you to ask a question instead of hang up.
And the goal is to get them, like, the engagement part is you have your 3 seconds, get them to ask a question, get some type of curiosity spark. And then from there, because like that is just so difficult, man. Like, and the reason I keep going back to it is because I'm a technologist and I've done different business ventures and so forth. And the hardest thing that I've had to sell personally was technology. I'm in real estate. It's not hard. It's like, listen, either you're going to want this apartment or not. Either you're going to want this house or not. This is the features, this is the budget. I'm going to get a couple of people to come, whatever. And other things I have to sell outside of technology. But technology and the amount of options a company has, and the amount of phone calls, emails that execs get, and you're now you're the 999th person today to hit them up, and it's like and the ironic thing is people hit me up, and I'm just like, no.
right.
I'm busy. I got things I'm doing. I don't want to buy it right now. Don't like, leave me alone.
Right.
So I know how I react to situations. There are people who get through now, and they have something special and they addressing a pain point right now that I need to solve. And I'm like, oh snap, interesting, you're calling me, or interesting, you're reaching out. But most are basically selling me things I don't need right now. I'm not thinking about. It's already addressed. So back to the way you started. You came with the problem, and it sounds like you're giving them either I want to learn more or I don't, and then we stop and you move on. So you're not wasting your time. Is that accurate?
Listen, they want to learn more or they don't. Okay. When's a better time? I know you guys are swamped over there. I get it. Well, try me next Wednesday. Ooh, next Wednesday's bad. How's Thursday? Oh, I'm looking at 11 o'clock. All right, cool. I'll send you a link to a Zoom. Now we have a meeting scheduled. I'm not just calling you back. Like one sales methodology that I incorporate into mine, which mine is value-based selling, but I incorporate the challenger sales methodology in that you lead the process. And it's easy for me and my team to lead the process because we approach it from a position of we know the value of what we're bringing. So we're trying to help you, right? So I want my people to have almost a little bit of an arrogance in that I'm not selling you something. I'm like, come on, I'm trying to help you, dude. Like you got a pain going on and we know the solution and you need to make time for this. But to your point, those avatars on the marketing wall you mentioned, right? Todd is the buyer. But Todd manages 5 people. Those are the end users. My conversation with an end user is different. I need to convince him And if he's the end user, he's going to understand the solution better than anybody. I need to convince him and work with him to figure out how to convince Todd to write the check so that the end user's life is easier. Selling tech is such a complicated dance, right? I'm helping Michelle out on the dance floor, but her dad is Todd. You don't dance with Michelle without talking to Todd. But if Michelle says, Daddy, I met Namdi and I have to dance with Namdi, no one else will do. Well, he's having a conversation with you, right? He's having a conversation, but his goals are different. Management is on his back. Performance goals are on his back. Stockholders are on his boss's back, and he knows it. So everything he brings to the table needs to be fully vetted. I mean, the pitch deck has to be full of charts that make perfect, clear, and concise sense for him to be able to go to his boss and say, cuts our costs, it increases our capacity. I mean, we're taking an AI to market right now that increases the capacity of tech teams. It identifies a problem in less than an hour, tickets the problem, fixes the problem, and closes the ticket. It's the best AI that's just hitting the market ever. How easy is it to sell it? It's hard as hell to sell it because the end user loves it. Level 1, level 2, level 3 techs are like, oh my God, it's like having an assistant. Like, managers are like, it replaces my level 1s and my level 2s. Cool. Well, I'm not going to tell you to replace them. We need more jobs. But how many seats do you want? Right? I'm not here to make moral judgments. Right? I'm here to help. How do we have impact? Right?
Few things I've heard, and I want to address it because I've heard a strategy like you mentioned end users and you mentioned the manager or the avatar Todd. So I once heard of this one person who was successful in an organization. I mean, selling to your organization. What they did was, let's just say Todd's the manager. They didn't even approach Todd. What they did was they approached all the end users. They figured out how to get in contact with them, just got the relationship, sending them this thing, working throughout the order, knowing, all right, look, they're not the ones who are going to sign a check. But what happened was eventually when they did approach Todd, he was like, I've been hearing so much about you guys, right? It just made the final sale easier. What are your thoughts on that?
Listen, so that's a Trojan horse approach, right?
Okay.
I'm going in through the end users with a free live demo. Test this out in a live environment for 30 days. Now, healthcare industry, I've got HIPAA compliance issues. Like Todd still has to know about this and sign off. But if this makes perfect sense and it's costing nothing, if in 30 days it actually shows improvement, Todd's all over it. So going in through the end users, if you're ready for the presentation to Todd, right? You're ready for the presentation to the manager, but you know how you impact everybody in that hierarchy. Absolutely. Absolutely. Good approach.
Okay, cool. Like that. That approach seems to obviously extend the sales cycle, right? Because I've heard of, I mean, it depends on the product. Some more expensive products you're trying to get in or services, especially for fintechs who are trying to partner with larger banks, right? Sometimes some sales cycles can last 6 months, some 3. So can you educate people on that whole process of understanding your sales cycle and the length of time and different things of that nature?
Man, everybody listening, like, listen, a 3 to 6 month sales cycle means you're selling magic. You're selling gold, because fintech, everybody you're selling into is heavily regulated, right? And the president right now has every federal department working on crypto and financial regulations to mitigate cryptocurrency and Bitcoin level 1 and level 2 Ethereum risk. But fintech is an industry that's 7 to 10 years old. So it's like, okay, you're running into regulations on regulations. You should have thought of that in product development, right? How do I incorporate? How do I, right, jump through these hoops? They're all on fire, right? So when I approach the end users, yes, we're SOC 2 certified. Yes, this is yes, we're HIPAA compliant. Know the answers to the questions before you open your mouth, right? Because the sales cycle, to your point, and what a sales cycle is how long does it take from the minute you start the conversation to the minute somebody signs a check? The sales cycle is typically, like you said, 3 to 6 to 18 to 24 months in fintech. I've got to go through a bunch of regulations. I've got to be compliant, Federal Reserve, SEC. Know that up front, right? They're going to have those concerns. They're in the back of their mind. But what's in the front of their mind is they have performance goals to hit. Are you helping them lower the bar? Can they hit those performance goals more easily with your tech? They're going to fight with you to get that implemented, if so.
Let's switch now. Question about keeping track of everyone and the utilization of sales technologies like CRM systems and so forth. What are your thoughts on that?
I use two. So CRMs are like a CRM to a business is like underwear to a human. You don't leave the house without it. You wake up, you put your underwear on when you get out the shower. This is just step one. CRMs now are capable of being fully integrated from your website to your cell phone. Literally, if someone were to go on my website right now and ask a question, they would, unbeknownst to them, be texting with me actively back and forth, because my CRM on my phone pops a window up. Hey, John just asked a question on growexpand.com. And all that data is collected in my CRM. I know what John's going on. My Pipedrive CRM, which is integrated with my HubSpot CRM, my Pipedrive tells me about his LinkedIn activity and his Twitter activity. So like your tech stack, where your business meets your sales team, that integration is all around your CRM. Like, you need to know what their challenges are, what size business they are, all that demographic data, but the psychographic data, what do they really care about, right? Besides the quantitative goals, the qualitative goals are they don't want to get divorced. They would love for a tech like this AI we're bringing to market. They would love for a tech that actually allowed them to work just 50 hours a week instead of the 80 they're doing now, right? So understanding your tech stack, and everybody's trying to go lean right now, a CRM is a must-have in your tech stack. A project management software is a must-have in your tech stack. And the project management piece integrates with the CRM and connects to the business. Now, fulfillment understands everything sales has been doing with this client. What are the pain points? What do they care about? Okay, These are the main things we need to address. These are the balls we can't drop. These are potential add-ons and widgets, upsells and cross-sells that we can present later. But we have to make this person sticky. They have trust issues. Their home life is poor. We got to get in there and make their life easier. No cross-sell opportunity for 6 to 9 months, right? So sales comes back in 6 months, 9 months. They're able to look at the project management software and say, all right, fulfillment's been good. They're happy. There have been a couple hiccups. Talk to fulfillment. What happened with the hiccups? And now I'm calling you. Hey, I'm glad we were able to fix those hiccups. What's your experience been like since? Boom, I'm fully integrated in your life again.
And one thing I tend not to do, and I just did it. I throw out acronyms for people that might not understand. A CRM is a customer relationship management system. So it's like a software where you can have all the data that Rich just explained on your particular target audience and the different people you've contacted. This way, you can keep track of them in a digital way, and you can see the entire history, especially as we lengthen the sales cycles where you just take multiple touch points and so forth. You can get an idea of everything that you just did. And then he's talking about integrating that into some sort of project management system. So it aligns with, okay, these are the projects I've been doing, and here are the people I've been contacting. So some sort of cross integration that Rich is referring to. I'd like to let the audience know that, because some might not have understood.
Yeah, I'm sorry I went all in without explaining the acronym. You're right.
Nothing.
Client relationship management software. It's everything.
So, we're going towards the tail end of the show. You helped us out with a lot of information about it. Then the question I want to ask before I want to just kind of change the questions, the focus more on you, some personal stuff is obviously everybody talks about AI and different technologies. What's the future like technology stack you see from a sales perspective that's helping salespeople out? Like what I mean, we know about the CRM. Obviously, that's been being used since a long time right now. But what are some of the future things that you see on the horizons that salespeople can leverage to help them be better? Well, both salespeople and non-traditional salespeople who are like me, like technology people who, even for this show, right? I have to reach. I'm not necessarily well, in a sense, right? Because I'm taking people's time. So I'm reaching out to people who are experts like yourself. And I want to make the appeal interesting so you come on my show. Everything's a sales, a transaction. So
Right.
I'm trying to get your time. So you can come on, drop some expertise to my audience. But what type of technology stack do you see in the future from a step that people can leverage that have to perform sales activities?
Going back to client relationship management softwares, those systems are everything. The advent of technology in CRM systems is very beautiful. A lot of them are using AI already to data mine based on the LinkedIn profile of every person in the CRM, the Twitter profile. Like if you have their ads, like the ability to know, like, yo, Todd buried his dog last week. Like call him out the blue. Dude, oh my God, I was on your Twitter. Sorry about your dog. Anything I can do? Yeah, all right. I just wanted you to know I was thinking about you, man. Hey, have a good one, all right? Click. Every call is not a sales call. And every sales call for the salesperson and the non-salesperson alike, we're in a post-COVID world. Everybody's in their feelings. So instead of trying to sell them, like approach them with the value that you're bringing to the market, because the human element of sales will never be replaced. Never. I've test driven 3 of these sales AIs that are out there, and they're all lead gen systems with a sales label on them. None of them actually do sales. None of them. No one wants to check boxes and buy something that they have to integrate into their business. They want to talk to you. They need a human. As digital as we're becoming, sales will be one of the last frontiers in tech.
Like that. You know what, man? Just for my own education purposes, I'm going to rewind certain aspects. I'm going to replay certain aspects of my personal time, because a couple of things that you said I want to really leverage for how I do business. Look, I've always said, you know, one of the best things anyone in technology can learn is sales, even if you don't plan to do it at all. But understanding how to take something that is a problem, is a pain, and then being able to convince, help, serve, whatever word you want to use, and then somebody else gives you some type of monetary value for that, dude.
Absolutely.
That skill,
That's
that skill. I mean, it's a reason why if you look at a lot of these top CEOs, they came from sales background. You got to look at top CEOs in various verticals. These guys are like sales guys that moved up in an organization because look, any company, they like, what did somebody said something that was real deep. He was like, I'm not buying a car because I like gas. I need gas to run my car. You know what I mean? You don't buy gas because you like petrol. You're like, oh, the money is the gas, right? So you need that to survive, or massive layoffs happen and the business shuts down. So it's a reason why like understanding sales is so important. And I've been wanting so long to get someone that is does technology sales on the show, because I wanted to talk about it. And listen, man, you're obviously a friend offline. You're a friend of the show. So, I would definitely like a future episode and we just dive into particular, like to dive deep into certain sales avenues. Because I just think, it's so important. And once again, like I wouldn't have thought, early on in my career when I was just like necessarily working big bank and I'm a technology guy and I'm doing stuff, I didn't understand the importance of getting that skill set. And look, I'm not even saying, look, I know that I've sold things and technology and people have compensated. I've sold things for other companies and I've sold things for my company. So it's so much to learn, right? But I know there's people who started in technology who just they're at zero right now. And I just think it's a very important skill set to build.
Absolutely.
So I wanna switch off, man. I'm trying to ask some people that come on the show this, man. What motivates you?
What motivates me is that's a powerful question, man. You threw me like a Oprah Winfrey left hook right there. What motivates me are my 3 priorities, which are God, my goals, and my grandkids. Relationship with the Creator is first. The goal of bringing the gift and the purpose in me to the world by positively impacting every business I touch, whether they're a client or a viewer on the tech behind FinTech. And my grandkids, because they are these beautiful little balls of melanin full of just light and ideas and energy. And my 8-year-old grandson loves science. And I just, I want to leave a legacy for them that empowers them to be the best of whatever they're supposed to be. Right. I don't want them to check any boxes. We're Gen X. Our parents were all, well, you got to go to college and get a good job. And we've kind of learned now that figuring out what you love and how to make money doing that is the real win. So, pouring that into the next generation whenever I get a chance. I buried my Mentor Tuesday, hardest thing I've ever done. And it just makes me want to help more. It makes me want to mentor more. So just doing that, man, that gets me out of bed in the morning.
Excellent. Love it. What we do for our guests, at the end of the show, we give them time to talk about their business, what they're doing, any ways people can find you, and so forth. So I'm gonna jump off the stage and give you the time to do that.
Thank you. Rich Laster with growexpand.com. We are a sales strategy and augmentation firm. What does that mean? What that means is we help two businesses. One, you're great at what you do, but you need more clients so you can get to making the money you want. Or you're making money, but it's because of a few key relationships that you have, but you lack the sales infrastructure to actually grow and scale your business, from advisory services to strategy to installing a salesperson in your business. We're the solution for you. I love the opportunity to help.
Rich, thank you very much for your time, man. Really good expertise. On the behalf of the Tech Behind FinTech, we really enjoyed you. Great conversation. To everyone else, we are the Tech Behind FinTech. We are live every Friday at 12 p.m. EST. Please go into techbehindfintech.com and subscribe. Just so everyone knows, we are working on a new Tech Behind FinTech platform that should be launching in September, which we're going to showcase a lot of the FinTech entrepreneurs that we interviewed, and also some industry leaders. We're also going to be coming out with virtual conferences. So a lot of upcoming things coming up. So
that's going to be fire.
Yeah, we're really excited about that. We're trying to take what we've been doing to the another level. Been at it for 4 years, so it's time to kind of step up the game. But in the meantime, every Friday at 12 p.m. you can find us, and we really thank you for the viewership. I wish everyone a wonderful, spectacular, awesome weekend, and we will see you next Friday, same time, same bat channel. Cheers.
Understanding the technology that powers the money is essential. Knowing the business drivers that inspire how the money is made is crucial. Bridging the gap between the mind of the technologist and the mind of the business is monumental. That is what TBF is all about. Let's start this never-ending conversation. It's time.